Like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
French fashion designer Stephan Janson on his friendship with Yves Saint Laurent established in 1989, the Stephan Janson fashion house offers an elegant and timeless spirit of flowing lines, oblique cuts, Provençal and Moroccan influences. The garments are a harmonious blend of sensuality, simplicity, comfort and sophistication, and are made of Italian-made fabrics that are masterfully be cut to adapt perfectly to every body type. Precious silk, linen, wool, velvet and jacquards make up the exotic and suggestive universe of the maison, with undeniable influences from the world of art and homages to the couturiers Yves Saint Laurent and Kenzo. Although the in Milan and Tangier-based French fashion designer Stephan Janson never worked in Yves Saint Laurent's house, that is, where he learned everything. His passion for fashion and Yves Saint Laurent dates back to his youth, when he admired a Saint Laurent dress on the cover of a magazine. Fate led to his first meeting with Saint Laurent and his partner Pierre Berge when he was a teenager, and they were generous enough to welcome him into their inner circle. In 2020, Madison Cox, president of the Fondation Pierre Berge Yves Saint Laurent, asked Janson to become part of the team responsible for the hugely successful exhibition, Yves Saint Laurent au Musées in Paris, taking place exactly 60 years after the first runway show. The prestigious maison was opened by Saint Laurent on January 29, 1962, at Rue Spontini 30 bis, the headquarters of at the time. Also in January 2022, Janson's book YSL Lexicon was published in collaboration with Martina Mondadori, featuring contributions from numerous creative talents and the words of the late couturier. I sit down with Janson to talk about his first encounter and deep-rooted friendship with Saint Laurent and Berge. They were close to Yves Saint Laurent and Pierre Berge. My personal experience is a dream because I've dreamed of becoming a designer since I was very little, and I met her when I wasn't even 15. I looked older, but I was 14.5 years old. And for me it was incredible because Monsieur Saint Laurent was extremely shy, and when we met he was stuttering. But Monsieur Berge was there and we got on board straight away. Also, the couture house was then on Rue Spontini, and I lived on Rue de la Façanderie, just behind the couture house. What was the reason you met Yves Saint Laurent when you were 14? Because my mother had remarried a man who worked in show business and he was the best friend of the entire Casino de Paris Orchestra, whose conductor Zizi Jeanmaire was the show. Zizi Jeanmaire was dressed by Saint Laurent in her personal life and on stage, so I was watching the show and all these Saint Laurent costumes and all that. When I was 14, I used to go to the show at the Casino de Paris every Sunday afternoon. After seeing me 3 times, Zizi Jeanmaire said, "Who is this guy who is always there on Sunday afternoons? I want to meet him." So I went there and we became friends. And one Sunday afternoon I was there and she asked if I wanted to be a dancer or a singer. "So you were still in school?" The funny story is when I was the first once I got the invitation to the fashion show all I saw was Wednesday at 11, so I had to ask my family for permission not to go to school. They said no. I said, please if I don't go, they will never invite me again. My family said I could go. Then Wednesday morning came, I left my house and didn't see anything like every day. Bizarre. I walked up the stairs and the woman at the front desk looked up the card I gave her. She said, "Oh, it's next Wednesday." I blushed, I was so embarrassed, and then I wondered if I would get another permission from my parents to go. I didn't. It was magical because up until that moment it felt like a fairy tale. When I saw my first runway show it was in 1972 and I still have chills. I realized how difficult it was because before it was just pictures. Meeting her really was a fairy tale come true for you, but that is it. That is how I fell in. When my mother told me what haute couture was, I said to myself, this is a dream. She told me that a coutureur's job is to make women happy. Why did Yves Saint Laurent travel to Marrakech twice a year for 2 weeks to design his haute couture collections? Because he just liked the rhythm of Marrakech, the light, the noise. He loved cruising around the souk on his moped. He had a very different life back then, and he said it was so relaxing because there was no phone and all. He drew and drew, listened to music and was very, very happy there. Yves Saint Laurent and Pierre Berge loved Marrakech so much that they bought several houses there over the years. Yes, they bought the first house, Dar El Hanch, which was really tiny and beautiful back then, on the outskirts of town. Now it is all in town. Then they bought another house that is so beautiful, a kind of